weekend. It's the 9th and the 10th. The Bon Temps, Rouler, Cajun Throwdown. I'm going to kick this on the FM. Make sure you share this out. Feel free to ask questions. We're going to have some fun. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio. It's 10:46 on a beautiful Tuesday, and I got a guest in studio. I'm going to let him introduce himself and then share what we have going on this weekend.
Daniel Tiny Guidry. And we have a festival coming up this weekend, y'all. You do not want to miss it. April 9th and 10th. Here locally at the Good Ole Days Fairgrounds in Hitchcock, Texas. It's going to be a blast. Crawfish cook-off on Saturday. Louisiana cuisine Friday night. Friday night we're going to have Wayne Toops, Jamie Bergeron, Frank Foster. We're going to have Saturday. It'll be an all-you-can-eat crawfish cook-off.
Okay, that sounds like a good time, right?
This is going to be a good time. We've got teams from Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana. One coming in, I want to say from Arkansas, a last-minute entry. We were in Louisiana last weekend doing some advertisements for on K-Ball Radio in Eunice, and that radio station reaches a very far outreach. Believe it or not, for such a small radio station, they get out to, I think we had 32,000 people listening at one time. So when we got the word out there, we had one team, and I believe they're from Arkansas. So we're very well represented as far as the southern United States goes, because Saturday, not only are you going to get a all-you-can-eat crawfish cook-off, guys, you're going to get Whiskey Myers. And if you never heard of Whiskey Myers, go on Apple Play right now. Go to the Essentials Whiskey Myers. Play some of their stuff. You will not want to miss this. Saturday's lineup is going to be amazing. We're going to have Dustin Saunier. We'll have Jason Cassidy, Whiskey Myers, Brandon McDermott. We're going to have a jam-packed, star-studded lineup. It's time for Texas to get outside, and we are giving you the perfect opportunity to do so.
So if somebody wants to find out more information, where do they go? How can they get tickets, and what can they expect?
On the tickets, BTRCajunThrowdown.com, BTRCajunThrowdown.com. It's $40 per day, and what you get is, with the $40 general admission tickets, you get all the shows. You'll be able to go out. Of course, we'll have food vendors, face painters. We'll have a really cool kid zone. And just a lot of fun for the whole family. Bring your lawn chairs, whatever, make yourself at home. This is what we want to make it feel like. Mi casa es su casa, as they say. So we do have VIP tickets available. Those come with all your adult beverages, food, and all that, private area. You can go read on that at BTRCajunThrowdown.com. But not only are you giving $40 for a concert and crawfish and things of that nature, guys, we have partnered with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and Texas Children's Hospital right here in Houston. Also, various local foundations as well. So we're not just throwing a party. We're doing something to give back to these people, because, COVID hit St. Jude and Texas Children. These places were hit pretty hard because you close down a country like that, rightfully so. So, I agree with the beginning of all that. We'll get into that at another time. So the donations slow down. So now that we're opening up, we went ahead, we re-upped with St. Jude. They are ecstatic. They're sending us T-shirts. They're sending us all kinds of goodies for everybody to, share information. St. Jude, if you've never been to St. Jude Children's Hospital, it is amazing. Those people are angels, man. They so our partnership with them will go on for a very long time, as well as Texas Children's Hospital, because, man, without people like our patrons, they don't get anything done.
So last year, y'all had the event planned. It looked like it was going to be amazing, and then COVID hit.
So COVID hit.
Everything had to be canceled, not just, the throwdown, but a lot of different events.
A lot of different events, and, ours uniquely, thank God that we have amazing sponsors, Mac Vibe Services, ITI, Out the Ditch Crawfish, Marathon right here in Texas City. All of our, and if I missed anybody, I apologize, but all of our sponsors allowed us with their donations to reimburse all the teams, all the tickets. We went back to square none. So what we did was we rolled over the sponsorships from last year to this year, so we could make sure that because when you go through something like COVID, man, a lot of these people couldn't go to work. They just didn't have any means. So we didn't mind. Look, we're going to eat it a little bit. That's fine. We'll take some money out of our own pockets, give back to these wonderful people. And if you have a ticket from last year and you want to come to this year's event, just come to the gate. Last year's tickets were $20. This year they're $40 because of the entertainment, boost. And the price of crawfish during the freeze ain't going to help us either.
Yeah.
But, bring your ticket, exchange it at the gate. Just bring $20 more. Just come and have a good time. It's time to get out of the house.
I agree. Last year, I didn't have any crawfish. 0 crawfish that I had. I don't know how to boil it myself. I know how to eat it pretty good. This season, I have had crawfish probably more than I had in the previous couple years.
Yeah.
Because I had missed it so much. And what have you seen? Is it a good season so far? Is it coming back after the freeze?
I will tell you this. Me and Danny Bell of Out the Ditch Crawfish went into Louisiana because all the people always ask a question. Hey, Tiny, where you get your crawfish?
Yeah.
Out the ditch. So everybody, well, what ditch you get them out of? So me and Danny Bell went over to Crowley, Louisiana a couple weeks ago and shot a film of exactly the process of how they farm crawfish. So if you go to BTR Cajun Throwdown's like page on Facebook, give us a like, look under the videos, and there's a process of how we go to Danny Bell. He goes to the farm. He does all the processing and all the whole 9 yards is on the video. It's one of the coolest things that I've done in a long time, video wise, as far as showcasing. Because when you get asked that much, well, Tiny, you're the crawfish guy. Well, let me kick it over to Danny Bell real quick because Danny Bell has a lot to do with it. Because when you say where you get them crawfish and you say out the ditch, you're getting them from Danny Bell, and you're getting a quality product. That's for sure.
Yeah. What's your background? How'd you get into throwing this?
Well, I used to do crawfish competitions and but you collect enough trophies and then somebody says, hey, let's do one. Jerry Champagne actually helped me do the very first one and get the idea kicked off the ground. And so here we are. I mean, we're just throwing a Cajun party. So
how many of y'all had in the past? Because I know there was supposed to be one last year, but y'all had it
right. There was supposed to be one last year. 2019 was the first throwdown I was a part of. I've been a part of many, many other ones. But this one here was put together by a small group of us. And being, St. Jude and, Terry Weiss. I'm going to give Terry Weiss a big shout out because him and Glenn Daigle actually introduced me to a trail ride one time that gave to St. Jude, and these guys raised over $100,000 in a week.
Wow!
To give to St. Jude on a trail ride. Mm-hmm. So they kind of give us this idea of who do you want to give back to? They said, look, give back to this organization, St. Jude. They give 100% of what you give goes to saving lives of those children. So it's a process to get a partnership going, but we did it, and they approved us in half a day. I mean, they called us ecstatic. Like, we don't have one of these under our belt, but we want to get one, and we're going to do it right there in the Houston area, and they didn't have any problem saying yes. So, I mean, I've been boiling crawfish my whole life, and now I get to watch other people do it.
And eat it.
And eat it. Well, I don't get a chance to.
Really? Too busy?
I'm so busy, but then again, it's a competition. And, when you're the guy hosting it.
Yeah.
And you're seeing in other people's tents, other people look at you like,
oh
yeah, that's his buddy. So I don't do that until after the competition's over. So then I'm like a little scoundrel walking around like a crab, like, hey, man, y'all got any left? No. Everybody ate it because the teams that are cooking the crawfish, none of them are bad. So, I mean, my judges all say, man, this is hard.
Right.
This is hard for us to do.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you have a lot of people volunteer to come out and judge.
A lot of people, if we have a deal, a link on our website, and it's closed now, but you actually get to go in and fill out a questionnaire on how to be a judge for the Louisiana cuisine, the Bloody Mary contest, and then the crawfish competition. So you fill out the questionnaire, and it's full of fun questions.
Yeah.
Like how's your mama now? I mean, just
how do you answer? Yeah,
just and how you answer and all that stuff. We're not looking for serious. We're not looking for too serious. We're looking for somebody, because the front of the person, they understand it's a cook-off. It's a lot of work for these guys. It's not coming out of a restaurant kitchen. So the judges, they get it. They understand. And, man, it's a perfect storm.
Man, I feel like it would be hard to cleanse your palate in between different crawfish.
Well, luckily, we have my boy Wesley. He's coming down, and he's behind the scenes on the judging. So you're in that judge's tent. He makes sure they have grapes, coffee grounds, all this stuff, water, whatever needs to clean your palate to move on to the next table, they got it in there.
Yes.
So, but somebody even said, well, crawfish is crawfish. You would think until you got down to it. But they do a wonderful job.
Okay. Is there any favorites to win it all?
Well, I can tell you there's one favorite that came back to win it. And in fact, he won the one in 2019. A guy, a cook team that I've known for a while from other ones that I've done, can't stop bugging his Jason Wheeler and his team. And Mr. Matt and all them down there in Galveston, and they bring it. They bring a show, and they read the ticket in 2019. I just shook my head. I was like, man, this guy's in the top 10 in all of them.
Yeah. I feel like when you're selecting a cook-off team name, that's very important.
Yes. And, man, I'm going to tell you, you just chuckle. I mean,
the creativity.
You just laugh. And, the creativity to keep it family is a really important thing. And I'm going to tell you, they've done a phenomenal job in doing that. And, just come out and just enjoy yourself.
Okay, here's a question. It's not that important, but I find it interesting. So I talked to an organization the other day. It was actually Bay Area Raceway in Dickinson, right?
Yeah.
They've been there for like 26 years. And maybe even longer. Maybe it's like 30 years. But they had a second annual Easter egg bash for Easter on the weekend. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. How did the first one go? They're like, well, we had it planned, but then we actually couldn't have it, but we went ahead. So for y'all, this would be the third annual.
This would be the third.
Do you count the last year? You just call it the third annual? I think whenever you get like 10, 15, 20 years in.
You kind of lose count.
It's the third, fourth, yeah.
I mean, man, no. No, I mean, it is, but it ain't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I should put that slogan on this year's T-shirts. It is, but it ain't.
Third annual, it is, but it ain't.
Yeah.
Bontown, yeah.
Bontown Rouler Cajun Throwdown. And,
right.
A really, really important aspect to this that we're putting on is we've sold tickets in 24 states.
Wow.
And we've had hotels call us and say, are you guys throwing something down there? Because they have hotels going from Galveston all the way to League City that are full.
For this weekend.
That generally aren't full.
Yeah.
So we're just like, wow. Like these people are coming in. RV parks that I didn't know existed are calling me. Like, are you guys doing something? Like, what are y'all doing down there on Highway 6? So we tell them, and boom, they call all their people from Louisiana. And, we've sold over 700 tickets
already
in the state of Louisiana alone.
Wow.
That's not including Houston, of course. Houston always comes in last minute. They always buy their tickets late, so we're not worried about that. But it's when you get the, there's a story behind it, because when we were told we couldn't do it this year in Galveston again, we were very discouraged. So my mom, you know my mom Vivian, of course, she had been begging me since the beginning. Good old days, good old days, good old days. So finally I said, you know what? I don't want to move this thing to Montgomery County, because I had an offer to move it to Montgomery County. I said to myself, let's keep it in Galveston County. Let's just go talk to Mama. So I pulled into my mom's house, and Miss Joanne was in her chair. And the first words that come out, I told you to do it at the good old days. So I called. I said, well, okay, what's the girl's name down there? So Chelsea answered the phone. I said, Miss Chelsea, I said, this is Daniel with the Cajun Throwdown. And she perked up. She goes, yes. I said, can I come look at your property? She said, when? I said, I'm on my way. I said, I pretty much need an answer, because when you hire artists like that, you know, they're booking shows now that the mask mandate and everything was very laxed. You know, everybody gets eager at the same time. So everybody's trying to book the same band. For that weekend, I needed a concrete place. We went and walked the park, and I said, you know what? It's going to take some elbow grease. This place is beautiful. So she sat down and she said, yes. So I want to thank Rick Sumi and everybody on that chamber over there for telling us yes. And we've got in there, and the Hitchcock Good Ole Days is a beautiful piece of property. And once you get out there and actually look at it and walk it, this event is the perfect host. I mean, the Good Ole Days is a perfect host for an event like this. Shaded in oak trees, kids can run around everywhere, very family-oriented, and that's what we're looking forward to on Friday and Saturday.
It's probably 3 minutes down the street from where we're at right now, if that.
Literally, in our park and ride, we have a park and ride over here, and I want to thank Jerome Karam so much, if he's listening right now, over at the Mainland City Center. He knows Danny Bell, and Danny Bell made one phone call. You know, Jerome and them down there are so community-oriented, and they care about families. And he was, what do you need? So he said, I have all this parking. So we went to him for the parking, understanding that he has a lot of stuff. And, guys, if you have a chance to go see the Mainland City Center, get down there. It is gorgeous on the inside. I mean, it's phenomenal for everybody. But when he said, hey, I have 2,500 parking spots, well, then Galveston Limousine said, well, I got the buses. So everything came together, and, you know, Danny Bell and them went down there. Phenomenal team that we have on our end that's going to make this thing go. It's $5 to park and ride. It's a round trip, $5. Kids 8 and under, they get to ride free, of course, with their families. We're not gonna do that. And not only that, but it's 8 and under are free to get into the event too.
So you can bring your family.
Bring your family. Bring your lawn chairs. No ice chests are allowed, but bring your lawn chairs, because you're gonna want to move spot to spot. And of course, eating after all that crawfish, who wants to be on their feet anyway?
Oh yeah.
So
just relax.
Yeah, take a nap.
Yes.
I mean, we don't care. It's going to be great music. So, yeah, I mean, a nap's going to be kind of hard to take, but just come make yourself at home.
How excited were the bands and the groups that they're getting booked again? They have to make decisions.
Well, now that that whole process is over, you know, they were ecstatic. I mean, because what we were doing was we wanted to put together an entire jam-packed weekend. So Jamie Bergeron, Wayne Toops, and Frank Foster are coming back, but they're going to headline what I call personally the Louisiana Big Three, because let me tell you, they're in the state of Louisiana. You're not going to get a lineup like that together. It'd be hard, but COVID made it easy for us. So when we announced that, I mean, people were like, wow. So we're going to go to this. Well, we didn't have Saturday quite full. So we wanted some Louisiana flair. We wanted some, you know, different type of music on Saturday. So we went and got Art T Arena. We went and got Bernie Allen Band, Dustin Saunier, Dylan McDermott. Brandon McDermott. Dylan McDermott. Listen to me. So all these guys are a little different. Even the Bernie Allen is what they call more of swamp pop. So you'll get to hear that. It's a different sound than the regular Zydeco. Curtis Pillard's going to be back playing. Jason Cassidy's going to be out here. He's a Kid Rockish, kind of really hit it, really pump up the crowd, and then from then on, from as soon as Jason Whiskey Myers, and that's going to be that's what everybody's just jamming the house for, and ticket sales are booming for Saturday.
You mentioned earlier there were ticket sales from 24 different states, so people are coming from all over the country.
And if I could go from West Coast to East Coast and slice it in the middle, Washington, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and then we'll go up to Nebraska, Illinois, Kansas, South Dakota, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Connecticut, Michigan, Wisconsin, Connecticut, and Rhode Island.
Where's the excitement? Why are people coming from all over the country? Is it in part the music, the fact that there's events?
One person actually gave me, I asked them, I said, hey, what's actually drawing you to this? And they said, Texas rocks. You guys aren't scared to do anything. So, hey, man, kudos to the county commissioners and the governor of the state of Texas. I mean, they helped us make it all happen. Jimmy Fullen and all those guys down there have been phenomenal in helping us, COVID stuff, whatever we need to know, how we need to do it. Of course, the mask mandate was lifted, but I'm going to tell you guys, if you want to wear a mask, wear it. We don't shame it. I mean, you do what you got to do to make yourself feel safe. And if I got to give you a mask because you lost one, I got plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not doing that.
I know the chambers, they were handing out a ton of masks. All the chambers in the area to businesses if they want it for their employees or for customers, however they want to use it.
Man, just like and I'm going to say this, just like now it's my right not to wear one, you have just as much right to wear one. And the fact that you're coming to see a show that I'm putting on, I'm going to help you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do.
So the event is this Friday, the 9th, and then again on Saturday, the 10th.
Yep.
But I guess my question is, if you had one of these every weekend, I would know where to get the best crawfish. But whenever there isn't a Cajun Throwdown, and I know I've asked you this question at least 2 years ago, and I remember what your answer is, but where is a reputable place that you would recommend, tiny approved crawfish, where I can get it in season?
Guidry's, Deer Park, Texas.
I've never been there. I need to go. I need to go.
You need to go.
Is there a relation? Is that a family?
No, there's not. In fact, I was married to and we lived in Deer Park, and she kept telling me Guidry's, and I'm a Guidry, so I walk in there, and I happen to know the guy from other events, other catering events that he had done. So I said, oh yeah, this guy's crawfish is legit. So I went to the restaurant, because sometimes you'll get a restaurant whose catering is way better than the restaurant, because it's hard to get good crawfish when everybody's there eating crawfish.
Yeah.
And, some people, and I've learned this, but there's some people that just think good crawfish can just come out in 4 minutes. Well, it's impossible. So when you go to Guidry's, his crawfish in the restaurant are just as good as his catering. And I'm going to tell you, yesterday I went to lunch and I ate 10 pounds.
Woo!
So, and then I took my friend there yesterday who had never eaten crawfish there, and she said, all my friends, people tell me about Guidry's. I said, well, now you're fixing to have it, and she got it, and she said, legit.
What's the most crawfish you've ever eaten? If that was just like a sit down, I think the most I have that I know it was 5 pounds, but I could have eaten more.
At Guidry's, I've eaten 3 trays. I've eaten 3, and I can eat a lot more.
You're a huge person.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to pay $150 either. I mean, the freezes still hit, prices. Farmers, look, and I'm going to give Texas an education, because for some reason Texas just seems to think they have 10 million crawfish connoisseurs or whatever. Mm-hmm. a freeze kicks retailers and people who earn a living. It kicks them down a little bit. So if the price increases just a little bit, it's okay. You know, it's not you're not going to get anything until after Easter. So those of you who beg for crawfish for Christmas, don't do it. Just don't do it because you drive up the price. And then that's where you keep the price going. Farmers don't mind it. And I say, hey, man, make your money. Mm-hmm. You know, but paying $10 a pound for crawfish kind of look crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. So I got so this season I've had it from Bacchus over there.
No, they're great.
And
they're
Kima,
good.
It's good.
They're great.
I've had it from TJ Reed's and Flippers have combined into one.
Yes,
but the Flipper side,
I've had it from there. Well, Danny Bell supplies all these, and you know, so he tells me who he supplies. I'm like, okay, they're getting quality crawfish. They're not getting anything crushed or dead. Because I'm going to tell you one good thing about Out the Ditch. If the catch is slow and the crawfish are going through what they call a molting process, he cuts it off. He won't deliver crawfish to him. He is the best supplier of delivering quality crawfish. When he goes over there, he looks at it. Okay, we'll take it. I mean, so the places that he delivers to, you know they're getting quality crawfish, but how good can you cook the quality crawfish?
What happens whenever it leaves Danny Bell's hands from the cook and the consistency?
When does it leave from Out the Ditch into the crawfish pot and onto your plate? How good is it? So my official ranking is Guidry's, Bacchus, man, who else? Because, man, they're all good. Yeah. They're all good. But there's something about, and Chad Guidry won't let me back there to check it out. And I've asked him 27 million times, what's your soaking process different than all the other ones? Oh, Bubba's Tiki Island. If you want some really good, different type of crawfish, phenomenal flavor, is Bubba's and Tiki Island. They're great. I mean, and he comes out, he pulls it out of the bag, he opens the bag, the crawfish are steaming, and they're smothered in this yummy, garlicky goodness. And I asked him 1,000 times too, and none of these guys will give me their secret because, I mean, it's not like I'm going to go tell everybody, but, you know, I like shooting videos at these places for the best crawfish, and they're all good. I mean, crawfish season, and it's full swing now. Easter's over, and then weather's warming up, so we're going to get some very good quality crawfish for this weekend from Out the Ditch, and hopefully one day I'll get the secrets from Chad and Bo on how they do their phenomenal crawfish.
So if it's crawfish that you're making, you're in charge. I know you aren't going to be competing because you're putting the thing on, right?
Right.
What kind of flavor and spice levels are you crafting?
I'm a more of a flavor guy and then a kick at the end, where some people are like, oh, I need them spicy and running the nose. I'm not one of those dudes because when I do my crawfish, I do as much flavor as I can. Celery, garlic, onions, and you cook it all right in. Before you even put the crawfish in, you do what they do in Louisiana when they do a gumbo, low and slow. And then you let that water cook, and then you let it all get in there. And then you throw the crawfish in, and then you just let it soak. And
What other kind of things? It wasn't until about like 5 or 6 years ago that I realized people put mushrooms in there, and that's like a side. Usually it's like corn and potatoes, that's standard. And then like I like mushrooms. Is there anything, and sausage as well? Is there anything else that people throw in there that's good?
Well, I do. Oh man, I've seen people literally when they pour their crawfish into the ice chest, they put mustard on it, and then and I'm going to tell you, Brad Valusik does this. A friend of mine out of Santa Fe. I thought he was insane. I looked at him and I was like, dude, you're nuts. I had it, and every time he has a crawfish boil, I try to attend, but his crawfish were a completely different taste. It was kind of like a Texas Southwest kind of flavor on a crawfish. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved it. Hey, you could do a lot of different stuff, like Vietnamese crawfish.
Right.
I looked at somebody funny and went, what?
Right.
What is this? Turned out to be good.
Yeah.
Hooly Hut down in Galveston, they put broccoli and all kinds of, like, you get your crawfish over there, and they give you a big, huge pile of crawfish, and then it's got broccoli and sausage and mushrooms and all this. You got to order it. But, I mean, their stuff is loaded.
I think it's important to have an open mind.
It is.
You know, because a lot of it may be family tradition, or this is, I learned it from this person who knows what they're doing, but then to be open and be like, yeah, broccoli, like, you know, some people may be like, you don't put broccoli in crawfish. What are you doing?
Yeah, like, what, like, and all that does, people say, oh, my God, it makes it taste better. No, it don't. The broccoli tastes better because it absorbs the flavor that you put in the water. Mm-hmm. Broccoli does nothing but soak up the goodness. And when you eat it, it's great.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who think, oh, well, I'm going to add this because it's going to add something to the water. No.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, whatever you do, but to each their own. I'll eat it. I don't care. I'm like Mikey off the Kicks commercial. Don't mind.
Tiny will like it. Tiny will eat
it.
Okay. Hey, so the event this weekend, the 9th and the 10th, about how many pounds of crawfish do you think are going to be coming out of the Good Ole Days property?
Oh. Well, we're going to get with Danny Bell on a final number, and I think we did that already. I'll get with him. And, I mean, it's gonna be anywhere from 15,000, 20,000
pounds of crawfish.
Pounds.
How many pounds are you going to be eating?
I don't know, because here's what happens. As the sponsor of the event and the person putting it on, I carry a wad of cash, and so I support the vendors. Don't give me anything for free. I'm going to walk around and I'm going to buy it. I'm a customer too, so. Most of my money normally goes to the Cool Cow Creamery guy. So, I mean, Patrick down there he's bringing in pralines and cream, Mardi Gras king cake, all your Southern Louisiana flavors, and ice cream. And you know, in 2019, he looked at me and he said, "I think I'm going to do this every year for the rest of my life." And I said, "Why?" He said, "I sold 55 gallons of ice cream in a day and a half."
You know, and it seems like it would pair. It pairs with the crop. You know, you got
you're sweet and you're hot. You get all that stuff. And we have a vendor coming down that does a Houston's Livestock Show and Rodeo, and they make their own root beer on site.
Wow, okay.
So, and she called me this morning and said, are we going to have electricity? Sure, we'll have electricity. I mean, we'll help you out. I said, why? She said, because I'm bringing ice cream to make root beer floats.
Ooh.
And I said, whoa. It's like so I'm not the smallest guy on earth. I mean, I like to eat. So I'm going to pay attention. I mean, crawfish I do all the time anyway. I'm going to eat the stuff that I don't get to eat because I don't get to KHEA very often. So when Patrick comes to a neighborhood near me, I'm there at some little kid's birthday party. I don't even know who the kid is. I just want ice cream. Yeah. I'm like, hey, dude, like I'm over here. What do you got for me?
When you do get to KHEA, I'm sure they would let you in the back, talk to Patrick, so you can see how they make it.
Yes.
Have you had that chance?
I haven't had that chance. He's offered. He's invited us a couple of times. Unfortunately, the schedules didn't match up. But one day I'm going to get back there.
Man,
and I hopefully, if Patrick, if you're listening, if you have a spot for a little video, you know, during the week this week, I want to get over there and check that process out because the flavor of this guy's ice cream is unlike any others, and I promise you. Ask Danny and them. I think it was 8 things of the Bananas Foster ice cream. Like I couldn't get enough.
Yeah,
it's addictive.
So he's a executive trained chef. That's what he is.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the full deal. But he focused on dessert. But whenever they make it, they use all these, you know, fresh, the best ingredients. But they'll the brownies they bake. So it's like, here's the brownies we made. I'm like, well, can I just have the brownie? Because it looks delicious. It smells good.
Great.
Tastes good. Then they take it and they put it in that ice cream as it, you know, is going in.
They fold it in and they pop it in. I mean, everything's fresh right there. I did get that from him because I did catch him making and this guy takes the exact recipes from Brennan's. If you had never been to Brennan's in Houston or New Orleans, go there and just eat the dessert called Bananas Foster.
Yeah.
You will be in heaven. It's $12, but it's the best $12 you'll ever spend if you ever got a sweet tooth.
Right.
It's worth the drive, I will tell you that.
Yeah. One thing I learned about Patrick as well with Cool Cow, he said that he always orders dessert anywhere he goes. If he goes to a restaurant and he orders it first. And he eats that because usually it's the opposite. You're full, you're stuffed. Do you have room for dessert? Probably not. Do you get it anyways? Yeah, I do. So for him, he's like, I can try it first on an empty stomach and enjoy it, and then I order my food and go.
Dang. I want to try that.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. Yeah.
That's what I want to do. Eat dessert first.
My kids, they're on that wagon as well.
Yeah, I need to get on that wagon. Another cool thing that we're going to have out here for all you crawfish lovers is we have Danny Bell is going to introduce a new product from Out the Ditch. I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you I've tried it with a crawfish tail, and it's probably the best stuff you've ever dipped it in. In Louisiana, they call it the MK sauce.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you.
You probably said too much. People are researching right now.
You put a little Out the Ditch on it, in it, and then you poke it. You're done.
Yeah.
If you don't like MK sauce, we're going to have what they call the Cajun Butter. One of our sponsors does dipping butters, and those two, I'm telling you, just grab both of them, go buy a bottle of each, put it on your tray, and just get at it if you like dipping your crawfish tails. The best thing that you could do.
Is boiled crawfish your favorite way to eat it? And if it is, what's your second or third favorite?
Boiled crawfish is probably my favorite because of what it entails, of what it brings, friendships, a gathering, friends together, nice weekend, everybody just have a good time. Catch up with all your friends, and that's what a crawfish boil means.
Mm-hmm.
So the meaning of a crawfish boil is what's important to me. Now, my favorite way to eat crawfish is in a crawfish etouffee. Now, my dad taught me how to cook one a long time, and I can't share the Gidra secret.
Just give a little bit away.
We love all right. Butter. Lots and lots of butter.
Okay.
So he's carried that on down because growing up, my dad was the best cook on the planet and the best dad on the planet, really. I have the best set of parents ever. But, he's taught us how to cook everything from gumbo, pork chops, rice and gravy, crawfish etouffee, shrimp etouffee, all of the good stuff. So, crawfish etouffee is my second favorite because in football season, Saints game comes on at 12. We're eating about 11:30, kickoff, and then you watch the Saints game. So really, everything it's not really the food. It's what it represents when you cook it, and people come and just it's an atmosphere that you want to create.
The one thing that I notice is if you are eating crawfish, you can't be messing with your phone. You can't be. I mean, you can if you want to get it all messy, but your hands are dirty, you know what I mean? And so it's like a process, so you have a time to bond and talk.
Until you boil your phone.
Has that happened to somebody?
Myself.
It's happened to you?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, apple doesn't taste like apple. So as soon as we figured that, where's my phone?
Oh,
it's not in my pocket.
Did you lean over?
Yeah,
cooking?
You lean over and you're pouring the crawfish in from the ice chest of which you purged it in, and you're leaning over. You don't even notice it's gone. And then you think for a second, well, you pull the basket up, and your phone's kind of just dead on the bottom.
So it made it into the pot of the boiling pot?
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the crawfish. And thank God it was on the side of the pot so you could see the phone.
Yeah.
But the phone was dead, and it didn't add anything good to it. So apple does not taste like apple, everybody. Let's try not to do that on purpose.
What if it did, though, and it's like, Tony, what's your secret? It's like, why is this so expensive? People would be trying normal apples, and it's like,
yeah.
It's like, here's $1,000 to every pot that we make.
There's people who actually put apples in there. Apples, pineapples. In this cook-off, you're going to see many, many, many different ways. I mean, they got, like I said, apples, pineapples, oranges, lemons, all kinds of. I saw dragon fruit in one. So, I mean, the sky's the limit over here on actually how to evolve a crawfish boil because it's unique and it's a whole lot of fun with these guys.
All right. Hey, can we remind everybody one more time, how can they find out information? When is it? Ticket information, anything else?
April 9th and 10th at the Good Ole Days Fairgrounds right there in Hitchcock, Texas. Ticket info is at btrcajunthrowdown.com. That's btrcajunthrowdown.com. General admission tickets and VIP tickets are still available. We'll probably run out of VIPs pretty soon, so if you want one, you might want to go to the website right now. and get them. If you have any questions, my phone number is on the website, so you can call me anytime today throughout the festival, and we'll get you taken care of.
Is there anything else you'd like to share this morning?
No.
We talked about a lot.
We did.
Had some fun.
Yeah. What else? I mean, what do you got? I can sit there all day. We can talk about the Astros, man. How about the Astros?
Hey, they're doing pretty good, right?
How about those Astros? You come out, and the team who hated on you for 2 years, you come out and you blow them out of the water.
Right.
35 runs to 9.
I know.
Of course, last night was a little let down, but you can't win them all.
Right.
So today we're going to go out at 2:30. We're going to beat the Angels. We're going to even up that series, and then we're going to take the series tomorrow, and then the sky's the limit for the weekend, baby. Masters Week. Remember Masters Week. And I'm going to tell you my winner right now. I'm picking Jordan Spieth to win the Masters for the second time.
So I watched a little bit on Sunday. I'm not really I've never golfed, but I actually found it interesting. And I guess he was winning by a couple strokes. And these guys, it doesn't matter. Like, they hit it in the pits. And, like, they just, like, knock it right out. And you see their face, like, oh, I'm so disappointed. It doesn't matter. You're still going to get better than everybody else in the whole world.
Me and my dad were discussing this about golf. These guys are all getting better. He said, well, you had Tiger Woods to watch play golf. Arguably the best shot maker in the history of golf. And they got to watch him. And once you try to get on his level, you kind of get there, and now everybody's kind of leveled out. Right. I mean, between Jordan Spieth and Brooks Koepka, I got those two guys. Those are my top two to win the Masters. Please don't go put money on it. I'm not a sports guru. I'm not a sports book, so let's not do that.
And it's like, and if you do and you win some money, then come support the
absolutely
the event, right?
Yeah, you're gonna win some money this weekend. You might as well come out and support.
Good cause.
And say thank you, Mr. Tiny, for the tip.
Yeah, but don't put money on it.
Yeah, don't put money on it.
Yeah, so. Man, yeah, golf is crazy, but I think Tiger Woods, you're right. And the other thing he did is he got so many new eyes on it. So if you have I guess Phil Mickelson, that's somebody like one of the generation before, and they kind of have their crew. But then Tiger's like Nike everywhere, and more people are watching. They're interested.
Well, the one thing that Tiger Woods did, and I know he has a lot of haters, but I'm going to tell you, watching this past weekend, they at Augusta National, who used to be the most closed-in, boxed-in golf course club in America to only males of distinction and money. And white males, at that matter of fact. You get Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods goes and wins the Masters by 12 strokes. Wins it 4 more times, another time in 2019. All of a sudden, you have Augusta National hosting the drive, chip, and putt championships for kids this year for the first time because of the great work of the people. I enjoy watching women's golf as well. For the first time, Augusta National opened up the golf course to the U.S. Women's Masters Amateur Opener, real long. For the first time, that's happened, and Tiger Woods paved the way for all of that to happen. So anything that is involved in Augusta, I've walked Augusta 3 times.
It's hard to get in there, right?
Yeah, but my dad was awesome when I was a kid, man. Like, he woke me up on I think it was 12th or 13th birthday and said, hey, I'm taking you to the Masters. At 12 years old, I'm like, what is that?
Right.
So we go out, and you see these golfers on TV. Well, I met Jack Nicklaus. My dad, did everything really cool. So ever since then, Augusta has been the week for me and my dad to really sit down and watch golf. And me and him sat down and watched the kids, and the women have all the same opportunity. It was amazing to watch. To watch the transformation of a golf club that was so, stuck in its ways to open up like that is amazing, and that's why I will always be a Tiger Woods golf fan.
Yes. But, it's really, really hard to get tickets, isn't it? Or am I thinking of it?
Unless you got $10,000 to go watch on a Sunday, depending on who's on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
If it's a Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson or Jordan Spieth or something like that, the tickets are 5 figures on Sunday. But, if you have – anything can happen.
Yeah.
So what the most famous saying at the Masters is The Masters doesn't start until the back nine on Sunday.
Okay.
Everybody's bunched up. And if you really pay attention once they get past, Amen Corner on 12, and you got eagle opportunities on 13, 15, 17, and a birdie on 18, you can shoot 5-6 under on 4 holes. And Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus has actually done it. So, or you could watch somebody completely collapse. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's either somebody shoots a crazy score, or somebody goes Jose Maria Olazabal and hits it in the water 4 times. I mean, it's the funnest tournament that I get to watch, and thankfully, good Lord willing, man, I got at least a few more Masters with my dad.
That's awesome.
So,
very cool, man. You mentioned the Astros yesterday. I interviewed my friends with Sopazon, really, and I got some right here. If you're
cool.
check them out, Sopazon.com. And he played in college baseball. He was a college baseball player. And I was asking him about the Astros, because he actually is out in Arizona, but he grew up, his family's from Boston, so they're a Boston Red Sox fan. I was like, what's your take on the Astros? People are over there in California with signs hating on them and everything, and he was like, well, if a ball's coming 103 miles an hour, you're either going to hit it or not, if someone's banging on a trash can or not. Plus,
right.
And I was like, well, and I had said a thing. I was like, well, you have to say that as a Red Sox fan, because they kind of got caught, them and the Yankees and other stuff.
They got caught. But why aren't the Yankees in trouble?
They got away with it. They did, like we can't release it. Right. So that was my only take, because everybody knows most of the teams are doing it. But, of course, it's the Houston fans who are having the burden of saying, well, everybody's doing it.
I had the privilege of I have a guy who's Facebook friends with me, Ryan Fitterman. He does an exclusive signing with Pete Rose. Mm-hmm. I went down there and got some of my stuff done. Of course, there's Guidry Lore and the Yankees, Ron Guidry. So everybody asks me that all the time. But I went down there and I asked Pete Rose during while he was autographing some of my stuff. I said, "Man, is it possible?" He said, "Not a day. It's impossible to get the information, bang on a trash can, and the hitter react to it." He said, "It's impossible. Yeah. You get nothing out of it." He said, "I'm the greatest hitter who ever lived." Maybe.
Yeah.
Not named Babe Ruth or Ricky Henderson. So he just chuckles at it. He said, "What Major League Baseball did to the Houston Astros is just sad." He said that it never should have happened to the Houston Astros. If you're going to do it to one, do it to all of them.
Yeah.
So you can't. How are you supposed to have a level playing field? The Yankees have an unlevel playing field anyway. They get $500 million before they even sell a ticket.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so they have. It's an unlevel playing field, and hopefully baseball gets that corrected one day, and hopefully one day they learn how to speed up, play baseball.
Right. But then there's the people who are, they're purists, or that's the way the game is. It's going to take 5 hours to get to the game, right?
Because Wrigley Field didn't have lights until 1990s.
Yeah.
So would it take all day? Watching WGN, when I would be home at 6, okay, Price is Right comes on at 11. The Cubs come on at 1.
Yeah.
So, and then you sit there. The Cubs were done. They were done by 3:30.
Yeah.
How come now it's all of a sudden 10-hour game? Television commercials, and they find a way to lengthen these games to fit all this stuff in and shorten that. Do like you used to do back in the day when they used to announce, well, our sponsor, blah 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 blah. This inning is sponsored by. Be done. Play baseball. Television has ruined it. Not the game, not the players, not the managers, not the pitching changes. The sponsors that they have to put on TV. That's what's ruined baseball.
Lots of dollars.
Yeah, because even football's 4 hours now. Why? Because every other 4 minutes you have to have a commercial break? Mm-hmm. No, stop. So Fox actually got on, and then now during their commercial breaks, they still show the game. They have the commercial on the side. Done.
Yeah.
So now the games are cut almost an hour and a half.
Golf did that. On Sunday, I noticed. There was a split screen. They were playing a commercial. They just didn't have the audio from the golf.
That's right.
You don't need the commentary.
Well, golf is played anyway, with or without commercials. So watch this Sunday or this weekend starting Thursday. IBM and Exxon, I believe it's Exxon, they bought up all the spots. So they play one commercial every 56 minutes. Why can't it be like that for everything?
Yeah. You know, the other thing about golf is there's so many people, there's always something going on. So it's like, now we're going to take a look at the 7, whatever hole it is. And
somebody's
then it's like,
always in action.
hit, reaction,
Done.
drive, reaction. And it's always constantly moving.
2:30 at the max. The last guy's teeing off. 5 o'clock, he's raising his trophy. And they're walking.
Yeah.
I mean, they're walking. They don't have a golf cart. I shoot golf on a golf cart, and it takes me 10 times longer with nobody in front of me because, I like golf. I love golf. I just can't play it like I love it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, plus I can't find golf clubs long enough. So it looks kind of like I'm doing a hatchet job in the dirt.
Are you a fan of Adam Sandler?
I am a fan of Adam Sandler. I love Adam Sandler.
It just reminded me of obviously the movie he is in, and I'm thinking like, well, Bobby Boucher, the water boy, playing from Louisiana as well.
Happy Gilmore is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, and one time I want to put on some baggy pants, some boots, and a Boston Bruins jersey, and just go out and hack up a golf course,
right?
Just to see if anybody would notice what I'm doing.
Yeah,
just to find out. I mean, not that my presence isn't big enough anyway, being as big as I am, but that's a whole lot of Boston Bruins. That's a big B.
It's a big jersey.
That's big.
Yeah, you'll get spotted for sure.
I think so. And then I have no hair, so then I would probably have to get some of that spray-on stuff.
I was going to mention that. Last time you came in, you had yellow hair.
I had my LSU hat, and it's in the truck.
It's in the truck.
Yeah, it's never too far away. We're just busy. I'll have it on all weekend long, I promise you.
So you'll be able to be spotted this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I'll be the only one with the yellow fuzzy hair, I promise you.
Are you going to have shirts for sale or anything?
We are. In fact, I'm going to give a shout-out to some of my people real quick, and it kind of chokes me up when I do. Amy Bell is our event coordinator. And she was diagnosed with breast cancer not too long ago. She got to ring the bell the other day, and I'm praise the Lord first, and then we're gonna have her around for a long time. She just got to ring the bell the other day, and we're proud of you, girl. We love you, and we have these pink shirts that we had some artwork made up, and it brings Louisiana and Texas together, the sisters, and all the proceeds for that go to breast cancer. So it's not only Amy, it's my good friend Shelly. It's some friends of mine that I've known. One good friend of mine who I call her a friend now. I just met her not too long ago. Rachel McMurray. There's a lot of women out there who need help because they've been diagnosed. A lot of Brandy Williams is one out in Texas City. She's like my sister. So you kind of see this evolve and go on, and you realize, man, this is affecting a lot more people than you think. So you do what you can to help them. So we're going to have T-shirts out there, $20. All the proceeds go to breast cancer awareness for them. It's a really good artwork. Of course, we'll have other event shirts. St. Jude is actually sending us a bunch of T-shirts. We're going to hand them out to whoever just wants to come up, and it says St. Jude supporter right on the front.
That's cool.
So, when you do this, you don't think just of yourself or just of, hey, we're going to have a crowd. But, man, look at it's going to help someone's life.
Yes.
And that's important.
Whenever you were talking about Amy on the team, I went and looked at the website earlier, and I saw there's a big crew of people that it takes to put an event like this on.
Man. Chris Freer, our teams coordinator, Jazzy Martinez, our vendors coordinator, of course, Amy, Danny, myself, Jason Lemaire, Jessica Bannis, Bear Wells, who has been phenomenal with Bear Wells, Chris Freer, Stephen Guidry, and David Wilson, and Danny Bell have been, on the short notice that we got to a new property and the things that we had to do, those guys have been 1,000% concrete. What do you want it to look like? It's going to be done. Shout out to Pedro Gutierrez, Pedro Concrete. If you've ever been out to the Good Ole Days, you know those white trailers that were in the middle? Mm-hmm. They're gone. He ripped it. Danny Bell got those out of there. We ripped up the old concrete. Pedro Gutierrez got him and his guys in there, donated a 50 by 30 concrete slab, a brand new one. Concrete walkway, all the crushed concrete around it. Amazing. So then you got Chris Freer, who's getting all of the power. You know, him and Danny Bell are out all the power that's going to go to the event. Those two guys, Bear, Chris went out there. I said, you know what, guys, this place kind of needs a facelift on the roads. What are we going to do? Chris Freer said, man, I got a box cutter coming out here tomorrow. And, boy, he redid them all. We even went down the road and fixed a pothole from a mom. So that was awesome. So Stephen Guidry, David Wilson, Stephanie Wilson, who's doing volunteers. If you want to volunteer, there is a link on our like page. If you want to volunteer, we have plenty of spots still open to volunteer. You'll get a Cajun Tier shirt. You'll get access into the park. When your shift is done, enjoy yourself. It takes a lot of people. And if I forgot anybody on my staff, they're going to kill me. So let me think a little more. What do we got? So Danny Bell, Amy Bell, Jazzy, Jessica, David, Stephanie, Steven, Bear. I want to thank Sean. There's probably 14 or 15 of us, and if I miss somebody, I sincerely apologize.
Yeah, it takes a lot to make something like that happen. And I know I had went and looked at y'all's website earlier. I'm gonna go pull it up one more time. Here we go. Yeah, BTR Cajun Throwdown. But yeah, I know. What are some things that y'all have learned from having this event a couple years ago and then planning to have one now that leads y'all up to this event?
Everything needs to be some things that we just understand that you can't control everything. So I'm the guy who freaks out, and
that's your job.
That's why I'm the guy over here having a meltdown, and everybody's looking at me like, "Dude, we took care of it," and I'm like, "Thank you." I had no idea. They're like, "Well, you're too busy freaking out, so why don't you ask us, and we'll be all right." And they've been great, especially this close to showtime. We had a meeting again yesterday, and tomorrow we really start putting everything together out there. Bubba Castaneda at All in One Tents and Events is going to be out there putting up all of our awesome tents. He's been, the greatest guy to work with. Very professional. If you need anything for a party, call Bubba Castaneda at All in One Tents and Events.
They got you taken care of, huh?
They will take care of you 1,000%. In fact, I had to add something late to our order last night. Got it done. Very, very, very smooth, very easy. Today is really just getting all your little odds and ends taken care of so everything can be put on the ground starting tomorrow. Because starting tomorrow, we're putting VIP tents. Bo Rollins at Bubba's has already gotten all the drink booths. Danny Bell's got the Crawfish set up. And let me tell you something else. If you like oysters, Danny Bell is going to do some charbroiled oysters, and it's almost like Drago's in New Orleans. And it's something that you're just going to have to get. I'm probably going to eat 5 or 6 dozen myself. And the flavoring that he has in this butter, that he makes the butter himself, and I don't even ask, but when I get it and I tried, just the flavoring, I'm like, man, that's the closest thing to Drago's in New Orleans I've had. So get ready, because if you like oysters, you're going to get them. You can get them raw on the half shell, charbroiled, and it's just going to be. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. All kinds of good food.
Man, I'm excited.
Me too.
It's close.
I'm not eating today, so I'll probably eat a little bit tomorrow to train myself, because come Friday, I'm going to walk around with probably a Cool Cow Creamery cup.
Of course.
And whatever desserts I can find with sweet tea around my neck. So
you know what they do to like those food eating competitions? They stretch their stomachs. They eat watermelon the day before, like a bunch of watermelon, because it's water-based.
Water. And it's heavy.
And it stretches your stomach out a little bit, and then you'll be able to have room to eat the next day.
We will have a crawfish eating contest.
Ooh.
Right in front of the stage. 2:30.
Do you know how many pounds it takes to win something like that?
The last guy did it, and Amy Bell, you're going to kill me if I get this wrong, because you questioned me on this the other day. I think it was a little over 15 pounds in 15 minutes.
So you got 15 minutes, as much as you can eat.
And this guy literally,
you got to peel and go?
Well, the way he was peeling, he just flicked the tails. Like, just flicked them off, and then just went to eating the tail.
So he flick, and then started eating?
And then eat the tails.
Okay.
I mean, the way he did it was crazy, but it worked. I mean, it was almost like watching Joey Chestnut.
Yeah,
it was almost
it's
like,
the hot dog guy.
Yeah, watch this guy. And he had beer, of course, a little bit of beer, but he had water, and he said, I'm just not going to drink water till the end. And this guy just went boom, boom, boom.
Did you fill up your stomach?
Yeah. And I mean, he just went and just. I was like, I don't even want to know what happens after.
I was going to say, do we know his status afterwards?
That's a lot. I mean, that's a whole lot of wow.
Yeah, unless you're like a pro. Was he a professional?
He was a big dude. He's a big old fella.
He's a big old fella. I'm a professionally large man, so.
Like, have you ever seen that movie Stand By Me?
No, I haven't seen it.
The pie eating contest?
I haven't seen it.
Watch it. It's
okay.
one of the greatest movies I think I've ever seen. But it reminded me of the pie eating contest, and I just thought to myself, like, man, when you leave this tent or when you leave this area, I don't even want to know what that looks like.
Yes.
Like, he was sweating. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of spice, not to mention a lot of crawfish meat.
Yes. So we had a 5-pound cinnamon roll eating challenge at Bonnie's Donuts, which is open today for the first time, I think, in months. So they're in League City off 518.
Got it.
There's Al Garza's Premier Martial Arts. There's
Yes.
Southern Sayas Vinyl and More, Pierogi Queen, and then there's Bonnie's Donuts. They've been closed. I think there was some illness and some other things, but today they're open. So make sure you go check them out. Show some support. We had a 5-pound cinnamon roll eating challenge because they make that there. It's on the menu. It's huge and it's delicious, right?
5 pounds.
5 pounds of cinnamon roll.
Wow.
And we had a competition, and the gentleman who won, him and his wife own Rolling Republic Barbecue. It's a food truck. So make sure you go check them out because they got some really good stuff as well. But he won, and so afterwards we're like, we just need to take a picture. We just need to get a picture.
5
and then,
pounds.
Yeah, but he ate, I think he almost finished it all, or he might have finished it all.
Did he need insulin?
I
mean, that's a lot.
Probably, but
I would probably smother mine in butter and tell him to reheat it. And look, we're getting at it.
Yeah.
5 pounds, dude.
A 5-pound cinnamon roll. That's a lot of sugar.
Do they have the challenge, or
there's no
is
challenge.
This a thing?
It's just it's a menu item. Like, hey, I want to feed the office. We got a cinnamon roll that's this big. It's bigger than both of our heads put together, and it's right there.
I tell you what, I'm gonna have ESPN out there on Friday, at the fairgrounds. On Friday, AJ and Fred Fowler are going to be out there on the blitz, and I want to give them a 5-pound cinnamon roll, just to see what a 5-pound cinnamon roll looks like. So if you guys are out there, I'll pay for the cinnamon roll. I just want to see what a 5-pound cinnamon roll looks like, and we can talk about that on air.
Yes. Hey, that would be awesome. Yeah, Bonnie's Donuts, great people that own that. I love them, and I'm. Because I would drive by because I train over there at Premier Martial Arts. And so I was there this morning, and they were actually open. I'm in such a rush. I was like, man, I want to go in there and just eat a whole cinnamon roll. But I got to get in. I got to talk to Tiny this morning.
We're talking about pounds. That's like, okay, so I go to Round Rock, Texas, and they have a donut there that's literally about this big.
Yeah.
And they top it with chocolate.
Okay.
And I tried to eat the entire thing. And
Is it a fluffy donut, though?
I mean, it's not Shipley's fluffy.
Right. But
it's kind of like, it's good. I mean, I tried to eat the whole thing, but I had to take a nap in between. Because, once you get too much sugar, you kind of crash and you want to take a nap like a 4-year-old.
Oh, yes.
But I eventually ate the entire thing. It was great. I thought that was the largest donut I think I've ever seen. But, man, 5 pounds? 5 pounds?
Yeah.
That's almost like the old PJ's Lunchbox. Remember when PJ's Lunchbox used to be in Hitchcock?
Highway 6 in 2004, I do.
I did that challenge.
You completed it?
I worked at Centerpoint Energy at the time, and I completed it, and Sammy Cuellar took me there. He said, I bet you can't do it. I think it was my third day at work.
How big was that burger? I don't remember exactly. I just remember it on the side.
I think it was 4-pound burger with a pound of fries and a 2-liter drink. You had to do like I think it was 65 minutes. Well, I did it. Being June wasn't a good idea. So he failed to tell me that we had this really hard job to do after that.
So it was like a lunch break at Centerpoint.
It was lunch break, and we rode over there, ate our lunch. I completed the task. I didn't have to pay for it, but I paid for it.
Oh, you paid for it.
Bad.
Yes.
It was bad. So it was 6 pounds of stuff I was much larger then because I was man, I love to eat. So I did that, and then I did the one at Hooters, and I'm on the wall at the Hooters on Nassau Road because I ate the double atomic chicken breast, whatever it was, and a thing of curly fries and a Dr. Pepper in less than 15 minutes. It was the worst, hardest thing I think I've ever. It was so hot, but I was determined.
Yes.
And so I'm on the wall of, I want to say, I don't know if it's fame or shame, because they got a live action shot, and they put me on the wall over there. So now I'm into tackling a 5-pound, is it cinnamon roll?
It's a cinnamon roll. So it's not like a fluffy donut. It's a cinnamon roll.
So it's not like a honey bun. It's not. Okay, so this is going to be hard.
They make it fresh every morning.
Okay, so I need one of those. I'm going to run by Bonnie's. I'm going to order one. And I'm going to have one out there on Friday.
Yes.
Me and AJ and Fred Fowler, we're going to talk about this.
I'm excited. I'll tune in and definitely listen.
We are going to. I'm going to talk about this on air.
All right.
On it.
I love it. So here's another food eating story that I have. About 3 years ago, we went with a gentleman who runs a food group, and he had set up like 5 places in Galveston for us to go. A couple of them are on Market Street. The third one that we went to was Benno's on the Seawall.
Benno's is good.
So the first place we went to, it was the Soul Food, Soul to Soul
That's good
Market.
too.
Delicious food. She stuffed us with like pork chops, all this stuff. Soul food.
Man, y'all went good eating.
Oh, it was too good. And then we went to Macio's.
The muffalata.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's the best sandwich. That's New Orleans grocery. That's Central Grocery muffalata quality good.
It is so good. So all these restaurants, they're showcasing their best food. So we ate like 3 or 4 dishes, and I'm feeling good first. And I was like, this is our first time to ever do anything with food. And, I like eating. I'm like, oh, this is great. We go to the next place. This is the time of my life. I love, I'm at Concetta. So good. So then we get to Benno's, and it's a little bit of a drive market. And so the food starts setting in. So they start
getting heavy.
They bring out some crawfish. They bring out some gumbo. They bring out etouffee. They bring out all of these different items that they have on the menu. And I was talking to my friend Kurt. I was like, Kurt, dude, I don't think I can eat anymore. I don't want to be rude. This is the owner of this restaurant, and he's bringing out his best food, and we're talking about it, and we're on the air and all this other stuff.
I can't eat it.
So I ate a crawfish, but whenever we left, I disappeared, and they were looking for me for a bit. And so Galveston has all these alleys, so I had to go and relieve myself. I was like,
that's what we want to know, what these people do after these when you eat so much.
Yes.
What do you do after a 5-pound?
You don't eat the next day. Because that's what I did. And then we actually had to go to another place and eat one more time. But
gosh.
Yeah, the drive home, I was like, I'm not eating the rest of the day. I didn't eat.
After Macio's sandwich though, man.
It's a big sandwich too.
It's big. It's like I said, it's just like Central Grocery in Decatur Street, New Orleans. I love going down to Macio's.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who introduced me to Macio's? God rest his soul, and I love this man to death. Dal Solari took me down there, and it was on a Thursday night. It was right before, maybe during COVID. And he said, "This is the best sandwich you'll ever eat." Well, growing up in Louisiana, you kind of, and being familiar with New Orleans, you know what it is. But then you're like, well,
we'll see.
I've had this sandwich. It better be good. Oh, man. Right up there with it.
Yeah.
Right up there with it.
Yeah. The main thing that I learned is you don't go to more than one restaurant in a day. And that was our day one of doing anything.
I mean,
one
unless you're
restaurant
walking
there.
across the whole entire city of New Orleans 9 times.
But then you got like one dish or a couple bites, especially
Right.
Then you like sample, okay, there's 4 dishes here. I'm not going to eat like half of this one.
Well,
half of
yeah,
that one.
especially if you take your wife or your significant other and you take what they call a shopping day. So you go shopping day and there's a restaurant on every corner. Then you just grab a little something all day long. You never get
sample
too
taste. Yeah, just eat.
Yeah,
That's a good time.
A little bit here or there.
Yeah.
But the 5 pound, now I'm excited. 5 pound cinnamon roll.
You know where it is, right? They built that Starbucks right in the middle of that parking lot, like it was a good idea. They built the Starbucks right there.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like a strip. It's like a U, and they built a Starbucks like right before COVID, right there, and they got a drive-through.
Thank you, Starbucks.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not getting coffee. I'm getting a cinnamon roll. I can get coffee at home.
Yeah.
I drink community coffee anyway, so it's far better than Starbucks.
There you go. Hey,
So-
well, thank you for hanging out today. One more time, remind people what's going on this weekend. How can they get tickets?
April 9th and 10th, the BTR Cajun Throwdown comes to you at Hitchcock, Texas, at the Good Ole Days Fairgrounds right there, 8300 Highway 6 right there in Hitchcock. The Bon Temps Rouler Cajun Throwdown featuring Whiskey Myers, Frank Foster, Wayne Toops, Jamie Bergeron, and many, many more. All-you-can-eat crawfish cook-off on Saturday. The Louisiana Cuisine Cook-Off on Friday with an amazing lineup featuring headlining Frank Foster, Wayne Toops, and Jamie Bergeron. Of course, then again on Saturday, you got Whiskey Myers. All your tickets can be purchased on BTRCajunThrowdown.com. You can even buy parking passes once you get in. Get your ticket. The only place to really park is going to be at the Mainland City Center right there, the old Mall of the Mainland. Once you buy your tickets online and you submit your email, you will get an email of exact locations of the park and ride. And then the best way to do this, guys, buy your parking ticket online. It makes things much, much smoother for our guys and our officers that are out there at the park and ride. And benefiting St. Jude. You know what? Shout out to my buddy Jerry Champagne, because Mardi Gras has been shut down and is being threatened to be shut down again. So we kind of went in. The Elmina Shriners will also benefit from this organization, because they do all the clown stuff for all the children's at the Shriners Hospital right there in Galveston, Florida. I mean, all kinds of cool places the Shriner clowns get to go to, and that's what we're going to benefit. We're going to help them because they've taken a big hit too. Put smiles on people's faces, man. That's what we're about, helping people, helping shape their lives in a different way.
It's KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Make sure that you go and watch this video or share it out if you're watching on social media.